So given the cost of a new Rolex and the sometimes astronomical prices of vintage models, I'm sure you've maybe fantasized about going back in a time machine to the days when Rolex watches were considered tool watches than luxury timepieces. Now here are a few examples of the cost of Rolex classics when they were first introduced versus the modern day equivalent, and how they stack up compared to the original model when adjusted for inflation in January of 2025. And please note, some of these costs are going to be approximate given that there's less consistent documentation from decades ago. The Submariner was unveiled in 1953 and it retailed for a whopping $150 new at the time. If you want to buy a traditional sub in 2025, it retails for $9,200. That's a far cry from the original price when adjusted for inflation, which sits around $1,770. The GMT Master was launched in 1954 and retailed for approximately $240 at the time. A current GMT Master 2 has a list price of $10,800. Now the original $240 equals around $2,825 today when adjusted for inflation, less than a third of the price of the current model. The legendary Rolex Daytona 6239 cost a mere $210 when it was new in 1963, which seems like a bargain when you look at some prime examples that sell for 6 or even 7 figures today. That's a huge difference compared to the $2,165 of the inflation-adjusted original retail. But under $2,200 is a good sight less than a new steel Daytona, which lists for $15,500 today.